All right, fellas, I'm going to attempt to show you what I did to disassemble this. Notice there's no O-rings. I just got back from Caterpillar and I picked up the O-rings. I'll post you a picture of the receipt so you can see all the cat part numbers. I got 3 full sets of these O-rings, and I don't know if they're going to work yet. I mean, they're all close, but 24 bucks for 3 complete sets. But let's start with this baby right here. One of the hardest things was to get this cap off. Well, you know, you're going to take this screw off or this bolt out and then see how this comes off. This is tapered. This was so press fit on there, it was crazy. And what I did was I put this in my hydraulic press with a flat plate on each side, just catching the lip of the knob, and then I took a drift punch down the center, and when this thing popped off, it literally exploded. I've done stuff like this before, so I have like a big cardboard box upside down, so when this thing shot out the bottom, it's fine. If you don't have something underneath to catch this, you're going to probably ruin it. It was that much force. But press that, this comes off. I didn't use an Allen key, I used a drift punch, but I'm just showing you. So that's off. Then right here you have a pin. This pin that I could not drift out, that I had to drill out. That sucked. And the weird thing is the hole goes all the way through. It would not push out no matter what I did. Even in the hydraulic press, I was on the verge of starting to tweak things. So I ended up drilling this pin. I'm just going to replace it with the roll pin. Then this comes off. This has an indexing knob which fits into only one spot on this disc. Then this spring washer comes off. And it's a little warp spring washer to basically keep pressure on the knob or the unit to keep it from clattering. Then you're left with this. Now remember, all my O-rings are out. And yes, I tweaked one of these white things, but it is what it is. This is a spring-loaded index. So when you feel this thing click as you turn the knob, this spring-loaded index right here is what's indexing in this disc. Sorry, let me put this back on. So then you're going to undo put a wrench on this and then a wrench on this, and then you're going to unscrew this piece. Then you have this brass insert. Then this pin is held in with this pin. This pulls out and you can see, you know, I don't know what you call this, but I call it a rotary valve. You can see the rotary valve. You can't, if you unscrew this, you got to be careful because you can't get this back in. And what you need to know is when unscrew and get this out, but how do you get this part out of this part? It's just held in with an O-ring. You just got to pull hard and this comes out. Once this pin is out, nothing holds this in there. You just basically pull it out. Let me get my brass thing back. So, I mean, this is everything. So why did I go down this far? Well, you're not seeing the spacer and the O-ring right here on this shaft. And you can replace all this you want, but if these two are bad, you're still going to leak out the knob. I think mine was leaking out the knob. This is as far down with this as you can go that I can tell. There's nothing left in here to take apart. I'm not going to press this pin out because this is just a shaft. There's nothing inside here that I can see. And you know what? That's basically it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my bag of cat O-rings. I just got back from Caterpillar. And we're going to dump these out. Like I said, I'm going to give you all the numbers. But the first big one right here goes on this. So we're going to get this put on. Now, my daddy taught me when you roll O-rings on like that, they'll twist on you. So what I do is I just grab them and I take the twist out if there's any twist. So now the O-ring is on that. The next thing I'm going to do is grab the old spacer. So let's see, I'm going to dump these over here. So what you have, these are the old ones. You have a square nylon spacer and then you have the round O-ring. But I don't recall which side the spacer went on and which side the O-ring went in, to be honest with you now. So I might have to pull out another valve and take a quick look. Dang. Well, this is round and round, which leads me to believe that the spacer went on first, because the spacer has a flat side and then the O-ring. So the spacer is gently cupped to match the O-ring, and then you have the O-ring. So you have two of them. Now, if I got these backwards, I'm not worried, because this is the valve on from the kneeling. This is the kneeling valve, and this is the one, believe it or not, that's leaking on my truck. But you get those in, and then once those are in, what we are going to do is we're going to put some oil on here. Hold on. Let's get some oil. And then we are going to insert this. And I thought it would be tighter, but it's not. Okay. And the O-ring stayed in the hole. Well, before we do that, watch. Alright, the O-ring stayed in the hole. Let's put this. Let me get a little bit of oil. Let's put this one in here, because remember, this tab here indexes in the slot. So let's put that right there. Then the one, so I got the flat spacer, then the other O-ring is inside, but it stayed in there. Now I'm going to thread this down. You can't see, but I can see where the thread tight, the Loctite on this nut is, and I'm going to go right to the edge of the Loctite, and you'll mine cinched up, and then from this point I can take, well, I thought I could take this. Tighten it, but wow, why doesn't that want to come off of there? I don't know why. That is so tight. Let me do this. Let me just try to hold this. And let me go back to this. There it goes. I don't know why, but that adjusting collar was really tight. Okay, so it turns smooth still, and I can feel it in the index. So we're going to run this jam nut into the bottom, and I'm not going to crank on it. So my the knob is running smooth, and if you look in there you can see it's running perfectly smooth. Okay, now if you notice the spring here goes in there, and then this indexing marker, don't lose those. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to sort out our cat O-rings. 1, 2, 3. For 1, 2, 3. But you know what? I choked. You know what? Hold on. I think I put the wrong O-ring in here. Oh my gosh. I'm not kidding you. This has been the worst thing I've done to this truck, man. I should have just bought a new one of these, but I did. I screwed up. This was the old one. I was trying to show you. I put the old one back in. This is the new one. There. Now we go back in with it. Remember, you got to be indexed. Oh, I can feel that O-ring now. Yeah. Okay, still turning. Nothing's bound. Let's get this jam nut back in there. Get this jam nut. You know what? I would edit all this and make this video short for you guys, but I just don't have time to do that, so you just get to see it live time. Now, this isn't a crank. That's just a gentle. Okay, let's check. Oh, yeah. I can feel that's way stiffer with that bigger O-ring. All right, so you lay these 3 O-rings out, and they're progressively smaller. Kudos to Empire Cat in Tucson, man. Those guys, they spent all that time with me, and I spent $25, and the guy next to me spent like $9 grand. And I got the same attention that he got. Oops. Yeah, you gotta watch these. I've already broke one, and I don't know what I can do about it. So I wanna get this in the center. I wanna get it right there in the center. There we go. And then the second one. I'm trying. If these don't work, I'm gonna have a bunch of cat O-rings I'm not gonna know what to do with. But that's okay. So let's separate these. And let's try to pick this over. Oh, come on. Separate. Oops, oops, oops. Don't crush it, please. There it goes. Man, you gotta really be careful with those things. That's the second one. The other one's just completely gone. There's nothing I can do about it. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3 O-rings. this one just broke. These are so delicate. I just think I'm gonna have to just roll without it. I think all it does is just keeps your O-ring centered. Or do you think I should just put a chunk in there to help? I mean, it's just broke. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I don't know, maybe it'll stay. Maybe. What do you think? I don't know, it might be worth a shot. Okay. So that should be that. Now, you got your spring, right? And then your detent ball that springs up and down. Dang, what am I missing? And then I think the washer goes on. And then this goes on, and I'll put it in the detent for one of the balls. And then this knob here only goes into one of the spots, I believe. But when you press, all right, just bear with me. When you press this, see this hole here? You're going to have to line it up with this hole when you press these together. Mine goes on really snug, so it's like once I go on, if I want it off, it's going to be a screwdriver. And that means I'm going to have to rotate this index plate. It shouldn't go on that hard. Dang it. Okay, so this plate, see how this plate is indexed? It'll go flat. I'm just eyeballing here to see if I'm straight, because if this doesn't go straight, it's a pain to get it off. No. All right, stand by. I think when I drill this out, I got a nugget of something. Hang tight real quick. I'm going to get some emery cloth and make sure I'm cleaned up, because there's just a burr. And then once I get the burr, we will we'll come back. So hold on. I did not have good luck deburring that, and I don't know why. So I think we're going to have to tap it on. So let's go with our washer, our spring, and our detent. We're going to go with our plate. Remember, the bigger hole is what indexes into this, because this doesn't fit in the smaller holes, but it does fit in the big hole. So let's loop it up a little. Just put a little bit on there to help it. Remember, we have to line this hole with the hole in this, right? And if I screw that up, I'm going to have to press it back off. Oh, that goes on easy. Now, don't go too far, because you have to indent this disc, right? See that disc fall in there? And there, it hit an indent. So I'm going to use that indent to hold that disc up in its place. Wow. So now, this will go on. And it turns. And if you notice, the holes here are lined up. I don't know if you can see it, but they line up. So I think that bent disc, that tension disc in there, keeps this wafer from flopping, is what it looks like to me. See all this corrosion on this? Yeah. And I'm just going to look down this hole. I just want to see where we are. Wow, I think I just learned something. Well, maybe I didn't. Why can't I see all the way through that? I thought I went on straight. All right, let me pop this back off and check this, because I think I should see all the way through this. Because if the roll pin doesn't go into the center shaft, then what's the point of it? So, all right, let me adjust this. Hold on. All right, that took a second. I'm lined up. I have no idea what I did. So, I don't know if you can see through this hole, but this is now lined up with this. If not, when you put a pin in there, the pin locks the center shaft, which is what you're dialing, right? So let me go to my roll pin box. Let me grab a roll pin. We will get that tapped in, and then I think we're going to be finished. So stand by real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I found a roll pin. I believe it's an 1/8 by 5/8 is what I'm going to go. Remember, the old roll pin never went all the way through. It only went halfway, which is about what I'm going to be doing here. And now I'm dead flush. Look at this. Indexes. And I think that's about the gap I had, but I think this gap right here is from that wafer disc. Keep intention on that. Interesting. It's almost like this disc has detents. It has like 3 for the selector valve and then a 2, which is interesting. But if you look here, the bottom 2 are open, and this index, and then this index, this one is open, and this one, all 3 are open. So this is open, this is closed. All 3 open, all 3 closed. Or if I go, this one is 2 open. Huh. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put it in and see if this fixes the leaks. Don't forget, you have to put this in. You know what's interesting about this is you can screw this all the way in, and then you can just index this. You can just put this wherever you think it needs to go, which is pretty interesting. But let me go ahead and get this inserted, and we're going to fire the truck up and see if it leaks. I mean, what else can I do? I mean, yeah, that little white piece broke off, but that was my bad. The reason why I fixed this one, number one, it was the only one leaking, but number two, it's going to be the circuit I'm going to end up removing. And if I jacked it up, I want it to be this one. All right, let me see what happens. Okay, bye. Wow, it would have already been spraying out by now. The second I hit the button is when it started leaking. Not one drip so far. Now I'm deadheading the hydraulics, still no leaks. I mean, I guess it's fixed. There's no leaks. No leaks, so I mean, I'll give it a week of playing with it. Those O-rings fit perfect, so I'll give you guys all those O-rings. I mean, to do one valve, they were like, I don't know, $1.30, 40 cents, I don't know. I got 3 complete sets for 3 valves, and it was $24. So, like a buck and change each. Yeah, that's pretty easy. Kudos to Empire Cat Tucson for spending the time to help me find them. I don't know what else to say about that valve. It's pretty, it wasn't hard, but it did take me a minute to figure out a couple of the ins and outs, but I think I'd save you guys a bunch of time if you want to do this. Knowing what I know now, I can go start to finish in probably an hour or less. But getting out the one pin is the hardest. If you have to drill it, it's easy because the other side hole acts as your drill bit guide, and it's not hardened steel. My bit went right through it, so it was no issue. So all right, well, hopefully there's some value to this video. I'm just trying to give back my share, but if leaks developed, I'll let you know. If it's no leaks, you won't hear nothing from me, and we're good to go. All right, thanks. Bye.